Rezwanul from RELYZ. At RELYZ, we vet and train top talents for different companies. Today, I have invited my colleague Ihor, and he will show us how to program in Java and also how to use JUnit and Mockito for unit testing. Then let's get started.
My name is Ihor. I work as a programmer and fond of programming. I choose Java because, as for me, it's very interesting and very wide tools to develop other application. Because thanks to Java, we can develop a small application and we can develop a large enterprise application with other instrument tools, libraries. It's very interesting. And as for me, I write code on JavaScript and Java, and as for Java, I like that Java is strict type language, and we can predict other things in programming.
Okay. Do you have some experience as a front-end developer also? You talked before about React. And do you have some experience in React
project, but React, yes. On a previous project called MetaMinder, we developed an education platform, something like Udemy, but with extended functionality. On this project, I performed the role of backend developer, but also did the task of DevOps engineer and helped to perform task for a front-end developer. With this project used such frameworks, languages as and technologies as Java, Spring Boot, Hibernate, React, JavaScript. And in this project, I performed task because our project built some way that we help each other, because our business arrange some task for anybody.
Okay. Since I already have talked with you, I know your skill and your understanding about Java programming language. But today I would like to request you to show us a sample project, and also implement JUnit unit test and use Mockito, so that we can learn from you how to write the unit tests in Java and how to use a unit library, also Mockito. You will follow the pattern and principle that we follow for clean coding. Then I think maybe you can start.
Yeah, okay. Let's create. Let I introduce a little thing about unit testing. Okay.
Sure, definitely.
Unit testing is a critical part of software development. It involves testing individual parts of units of code in isolation to ensure they work as expected. This helps catch bugs early and ensures that the changes to the code don't break existing functionality. And JUnit and Mockito, as you said earlier, are popular testing framework in Java. There is several different things. JUnit is a framework specifically designed from writing and running unit tests in Java. It provides a way to define test case and expected outcomes, making it easier to verify if your code is behaving correctly. But Mockito, on the other hand, is a framework that helps create mocks object, which simulates parts of your code for testing. This is useful when a part of your code depends on, for example, external components like database or web services that might not be accessible during testing. And let's see next how it works. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah. In our case, we need to, if you have any question, please feel free, ask, okay?
Yes. I will.
We need to create a simple project. This simple project, Maven project, without any artifacts, without any dependencies, because dependency we will install a little bit later from Maven repository. Okay?
Yeah. Good.
Okay. Mhm. Mhm. Oh, mhm. 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 A couple of words about Maven, Maven project. Couple of words, Maven project. Maven is a tool that helps us manage and organize their software. It takes care of like downloading libraries, building code, and making sure everything works together correctly. I mean, it's like a helpful assistant, maybe. Yeah. Thanks to Maven, we will install the libraries that we need and guarantee that it will work properly.
Okay. You have experience in Gradle also, right?
Yeah, of course. It's very similar
yeah,
tools.
very similar.
Yeah, very similar tools. And distinguish only syntax and principle are similar. Okay. In first case, we need to add JUnit from Maven repository. For it, we take Maven repository. And we choose JUnit. We used most popular version. In this example, we put our dependencies in POM file, and we need to update that our dependency implement in our project. Next, let's create most common Pojo object for plain old Java object to show how it works. Okay. We need to create, for example, bank account. And this in this class we have int funds and name. We need to create constructor. We have to create getter for one field. For example, it's field. I think it will be balance. In our class, I have to I want to create a method deposit and withdraw, and I see how it works testing. Okay.
Okay, it's fine.
And the moment. In this case, we checked if amount. Then very simple method, nothing special. And next method, withdraw. So, in this method, we checked if the amount is greater than 0 and less than balance, then we can withdraw from the account because it's simple check.
Okay.
Yes. And finally, let's start writing test. To do this, we create a class in which we will be tested. As a rule, this class is also called the class that we test only with addition word test.
Okay.
We need to for it. We have special folder. For example, bank account test. Test. Yeah. Test. Good. Yeah. We create field bank account plus bank account. And next, let's add an account field and then talk about the before each annotation. Before each annotation.
Okay.
This main task of this annotation is to guarantee us consistent data start before starting each test method.
Okay. Yeah.
I create test method and explain what it means. For each, for example, void setup. Initial balance. Yeah. As I said earlier, the main test annotation guarantee us consistent data.
Yeah.
And in our case, we can guarantee that before each test, we will have an object with the name John and balance of 1,000 unit. Okay. But also the setup method with an annotation before each is often used to connect with database and data retrieval. And therefore, this method is often called a setup because we set up some prepare some environment. You see my screen, yeah?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. And as I said, we use this method for connect database. And although it can be called anything because we need only put before each annotation. And it means that this method will be start before each of test method.
Okay.
Thankful annotation before each. Okay, but there is a certain convention of writing test where is customary to give meaningful names. We talk about it a little bit later. Because we name this method setup. We talk about and we have another method, another annotation in the setup method. If in the setup method with an annotation before each we receive some data or create a connection, then in the method teardown after each. Method teardown this annotation after each. Yeah, we close the connection, or as in our case, delete object. No, in our case, it will be more simple example because we don't have connect database. Okay.
Yeah. Got it.
Void tear down. Now let's imagine that we set up. Yeah. Next, we create two methods with annotation test.
Okay.
Okay, and yes. I'll explain what it means. We need, as for example, we need to add a word test before name our method, that our names will be meaningful, will be clear for other developers, and maybe even for ourselves in future.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. In this example, we will test two methods from our class, deposit and withdrawal. And because equals, that means we need to import assert equals method. I explain what it means, assert equals method, a little bit later. Expected. We have start balance 1000 and expected after deposit 500 units.
Okay.
500 units. We expected get 1050. 1500. So yeah. And in this case, we check it. Okay. Next method. I create next method and then I explain what it means. Withdraw method. Yeah. Front. Middle. So equals expected 700. Yeah, okay. Balance. Yeah. In this case, what we see, they are annotated with a test annotation, which tells the JUnit that they are test methods. Inside them, we use the assert equals methods. Assert equals methods here that comes from the JUnit and also compares the two value for equality. If the value are equal, then the test is passed. I want to draw your attention to the fact that in the deposit method we put 500 units on the account, yeah. But yes, in the withdrawal method, our initial account will be 1000. This just happened due to what I described earlier in the tear down method with the annotation after each and before each, because we set up new up new data before each method. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's try it. Let's try. We can launch both methods immediately, but or we can each separately method. Separately, yeah. Yeah, everything works. When I see green color, it's good because the test passed. Yeah, and withdraw method. Yeah, everything is okay. But let's imagine that we did something wrong and we put expected value 600. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I explain one interesting thing. we got the error. It's okay because in the context we got error. We got stuck trace, and I'd like to notice that in Java in JUnit very clear explanation of error because expected 700, 600, and actual 700. And in this case, we see when we need to check bank account test. Because in this example, it's very simple understand. But if you have 50 classes with test, and this test launch automatically by Jenkins, with deploy, it's meaningful. Okay, we return it back and can check again. Everything is okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in this case, we can continue, yeah?
Please continue.
Mm-hmm. Yes, in our case, I'd like to notice that let's talk about best practice. Write an effective unit test with JUnit involves following best practice to ensure your tests are meaningful, maintainable, and contribute positively to your software development process. Here are some case practice to consider. Let's see points. Clear test naming. Use descriptive names for your test methods that clearly indicate what aspect of the code they are testing. A well-named test act. We can call them as documentation for the expected behavior. Yeah.
Expected behavior. Yeah.
Yeah. Single responsibility. We have this principle. Each test method should focus on testing a single piece of functionality. For example, it's wrong testing withdrawal in test deposit method, or if we use bank account test, it's wrong testing maybe a notification service. Yeah.
Yeah.
It means single responsibility. Arrange, act, assert pattern. Organize your test method into 3 sections. Arrange, set up the test environment, as you see, set up. Yeah. Act, perform the act we deposit or we withdraw. This our act. Assert, we verify result by asserting it. Means it meets your expectation. Yeah. Isolation and dependency ensures that each test is independent and doesn't rely on the state of other tests.
Yes, definitely.
It's very clear. Use meaningful assertions. Choose appropriate assertions method like assert equals, assert true. So clearly express what you are checking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Avoid It's very interesting thing in the I'd like notice. Avoid hard coding values. Use contains of variables for expected values to make your test more maintainable. Yeah. Yes. Test boundary conditions. Test both regular cases and the boundary condition. And using mocking and stubs if it need. About Mockito we will talk in the next section. It will be very interesting and powerful tools. Yeah. Test coverage. Aim for good code coverage by testing various parts and scenarios. While 100% coverage isn't always feasible,
achievable.
Aim for coverage, and that ensures important parts of your code are tested.
Yeah.
Important is need to test. Yeah,
definitely.
And we have one pattern, test driven development. It's very interesting pattern. We will dwell on this pattern in detail a little further, but in short, consider following the TDD approach, where you write test before implementation the actual code. This helps you focus on desired behavior and design.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shortly, refactor test, regular maintenance, continuous integration, incorporate your testing into CI pipeline. It's very powerful tools. know when to test, focus on testing complex logic, important functionality, and critical parts. Trivial of automatically generated code may not need extensive testing. Okay. Yeah, but according to this best practice, you can write unit tests, provide valuable feedback, ensure code reliability, and contribute to smoother development process. And next section, as of part of understandable name of test method, I want to show an example which, by the way, will show us how we can test for throwing an exception. Let's add a condition to our method under which if we set a negative deposit, an exception will be thrown. Okay.
Okay.
In this case, we can add block else and throw. New illegal element exception. 9 must be positive. Amount must be positive. And okay, we create test. I'd like to create test with name. 1 second, with name test deposit with negative amount and row exception. Really, this name method takes very long, but it's very informative. It's very informative for other developers.
Yes.
It's understandable because test deposit with negative amount and throw exception. It's very clear. Yes, for me. Okay. In our case, we need to choose a third row. So assertion is throw. And illegal element exception plus and other things. I often confused when I write in JavaScript, because in JavaScript RL function right here in this syntax. In Java, lambda right such way in one arrows, and I often confuse it. But okay, count deposit amount, negative amount, as we said earlier. Okay, let's check it. Yeah, in this method, assert equals, assert throw, we expected exception, and we got it. The method passed. Yeah, in this case, I want to show what is correctly named method. Correct name method. Okay.
Yep.
Yes. Next, I'd like to tell about TDD, test driven development. Okay. It's a software development approach in which you write tests before writing the actual code. TDD involves a cycle of writing a failing test when writing the code to make the test pass, and finally refactoring the code if needed. The iterative process ensures that the code is developed incrementally and with a focus on its expected behavior. Yeah. If long story short, advantages of the test-driven development at clear requirements, focused development, rapid feedback loop, code confidence, regression prevention, very collaboration, quality focus, and etc. Because It's very powerful. It's very powerful tools, and I'll see how it works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have do you have experience in some other development design besides test-driven development, like event-driven development or domain-driven development?
Domain-driven development.
Yeah.
It's I have experience, but not enterprise project for me.
Okay,
Only for
no
me.
problem.
Only. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, then let's continue here.
Yeah, in our case, next we when we get to Mockito, I will show a very interesting example with TDD. But for now, let's get in simple method. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Example: let's create class calculator. Yes. Mm-hmm. And we have public int add, for example, A, and B. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very simple class, and we create test calculator test method, as I see. Mm-hmm. Here we can create it that way. For example, we have one. Mm-hmm. Yes. Expedition. Expedition. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We expected expedition. We can add, for example, calculator I created manually. That's okay. Okay. The following result. We need to put static method from sorticals and expected 566 expected 6. Okay, and result. Example, now let's create, we create a class calculator test and writing method test addition. Basically, this method doesn't distinguish from simple test method, but in this case, we predict behavior our method add from class with we have to test. And I explained how it works.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything it's okay, and I create a method. We predict our behavior method, and I then create a method add number and number in our class calculator. Private. Numbers, in A and int B. In our example, return we have some method which calculate our value and return numbers A and B. In such a way, I'd like to show that we can predict, we don't need to know what logic or what code placed in our method. We need to know what with method return, what this method return us. And in this case, we talk about test-driven development.
Okay.
This what. For example, again, execute test. Calculate the test. Yeah, everything okay. This meaning of TDD is that the method add this may contain some kind of complex logic or calculation.
Okay.
At the time of writing the test, this logic is not important. We only need to know the result of the method add only. Next two very interesting because we have to talk about parameterized. Parameterized is very interesting thing. Okay.
Okay.
Parameterized test in JUnit allow us to run the same test logic with multiple sets of inputs. This is particularly useful when you want to test a certain behavior with various scenarios without writing duplicate test code. And next I show how it works. We need to install parameterize from params from maven. Let's talk about parameterized, and we install. We just copy and install dependency in our project. Okay, everything is okay, and we need to create parameterized. We just start a test. Okay, in this case, that method works. Just simple method which will be checked, which will be test addition numbers. It's okay. In this case, we add parameterized test annotation and annotation CSV source. CSV source annotation and parameterized annotation and CSV source annotation. It's used to test the add method of calculator class with various input values and their expected sums. Because this approach avoids creating very similar methods where only the parameter differs. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. In this case, we check CSV source. We need to add our parameters. What we expect. It's parameter 3 or 3, 5, 3, 5, 8. First parameter is A, second parameter is B, and third parameter expected sum.
Okay.
How it works, I explain a bit later, and maybe we can verify. Minus 2, 2, minus 2, 2, will be 0. Okay. Calculator. Interrupt. At A and B. This is AAB. It means that is this A and B. AAB. Okay.
Okay.
Abstract equals. Print. And result. In our case, let's check how it works. In our example, yeah, everything is okay. In our example, parameterized test, this annotation is used to indicate that the following methods is a parameterized test. It means that the test method will be executed multiple times with different sets of parameters.
Yes.
And CSV source, this is a source annotation that provides comma-separated value is input parameters for our test method. Each set of values represent one test case. One test case, second test case. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, in our case, for each combination, the calculators add methods will be called, and result will be compared with the expected sum using the assert equals. That's why we see 2 times execute method. Yeah, because it works properly. It works in such way. Our test, as you see, we can add simultaneously a lot of parameters and expected results. Execution, these methods will consider as execution 2 different test methods, as I said earlier. Okay?
Yeah, good.
And very example topic and issue Mockito. Mockito is a popular Java testing framework that is used for creating mock object in unit test. As I said earlier, mock object are placeholder for real object in the system, and they are used to isolate the code being tested from its dependency. Mockito provides a way to simulate the behavior of this dependency, allowing us to focus on testing the specific unit of code without needing to interact with real external system or components. We can name several critical points. Mockito: isolation, controlled behavior, focus on specific behavior, no need for real implementation, simplified testing of edge cases, avoiding side effects, and etc. In summary, Mockito is a valuable tool in the world of unit testing. It allows you to focus on specific behavior of the code you're testing and remove the complexity and dependency real system. Okay. Let's add the Mockito library in and finally get down to testing, okay?
Okay.
Yes, JUnit. We are installed this library because it has magic annotation, unlike regular Mockito core library.
Okay.
This difference I will explain you further.
Okay.
Let's create simple class with which will look like class from a real project. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It's fine.
We name it employee entity. It will be a simple class with simple fields. Employee. And position. Yeah. Let's create construction. Let's create method get. Get position, for example. In this case, we imagine that we have employee entity with next fields, ID, name, and position. Okay.
Okay.
And I like to create employee repository. Let's say that we have repository from which we can take list employees. Okay. I will say right away that in real life this wouldn't work, and we would have to create a special test database and get real data. But for the training example, I will show it like this. Okay.
I think it's fine.
Information we have public list employee repository. Get all employees. Employees method, which return list of employees. Yeah. And the position. I'll do it quickly. J. Let's example driver position. And next case, George. You employee entity. So driver. Manager, what's one? List. On the page. Well, maybe I forget. Check it. Employee entity. Okay. Everything is okay. Yeah. Maybe we can add one more employee. Yeah, let's example, we have that imagine we have employee service. Okay.
Yeah.
Employee service. Employee service. And I add private employee repository. And let's assume that inside getEmployee method goes very difficult logic. We create this method. Public list. Empty. get employees. In our example, list employees, employee entity, and place repository, get all in place. Yeah. And let's we imagine, as I said, some complex logic. Some complex logic and calculation with employees. That's example that inside this method goes very difficult logic before returning list employee. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Employees. Okay. And next we're going to write test method without using Mockito. And then we connect Mockito and JUnit. Okay.
Okay.
Right there. I test it out Mockito. And in this case, we create employee service repository, employee service. Employee service, yes. We add annotation before each. We know what annotation means. In our example, we have employee service class, and inside this class we have dependency from employee repository, as you see. And we have method get employees. Let's assume that inside get employee method goes very difficult logic before returning list employees. You can find here. Next, we're going to write test method. We're going to pass that method. Oh, I'm so sorry. Without mock. And in this class, we add all dependency manually. What I mean? Employee repository, new employee repository, persons, new employee service, employee repository. At this point, we are manually injecting dependency, but next I will show you a very interesting tool using Mockito. Let's create our test without Mockito, without mock. In our repository, in our service, we have 4 employees. Therefore, result size return 4, and our expected number will be 4. Let's launch this test and check how it works. It works properly. Everything is okay. As we saw in the previous example, the setup method sets the required data before each method. In this example, we check if the expected number of employee matches the actual numbers of employee. Now, let's rewrite it with using Mockito, and I explain a few key principles. We imagine that we have another service which interacting with employee service. The service, we create this service. Filter service. Okay. Private employee service. Employee service. Private entity. Get price. In this method, we checked if we have in our employee list employee get position driver. It will be returned in our list, and it will be returned in this method. Employees, string, filter. Okay. If we check, we get position from each employee from list, and check position driver. Okay, let's write test on this method. I want to add the annotation extend with. Extension, no, Mockito extension. Mockito extension class. Okay. Thanks to extend with annotation, we tell our test class that we will work with Mockito extension class. And it means that dependency injection will be provided automatically using another annotation, mock and inject mock. And not as the previous example. In previous example, we add dependency manually. Okay, let's come back and I write our dependency. Our object. Annotation mock and annotation inject mock. Let's dive a little deep into this annotation. As you see in our filter service, we have dependency filter service, we have dependency from employee service. Therefore, when we specify mock, we tell that it will be stub. And inject mock annotation tells where we need add this stub. That is where we need to inject the dependency. In our class, in our example, this example, I'd like to unite all our tools, and all annotation, like before each, and mock, inject mock. Let's see. Before each. Stop. Mockito. Okay. We need to create this method here in this class. 1 second. Or we just transfer from our repository. Like this. Okay. It's good. Next. In this case, we define how will work method getEmployees when it will call inside filter service. Pay attention that we don't need to create a repository which is in employee service. It means that we can use isolated pieces of code. In setup method with annotation before each, this Mockito literally says when getEmployees will call, then return list of employees, and it going to happen before each test method. I create test method. Filter service test is get employee driver. I will use the method verify and explain what it means. Verify employee service and get employees. Okay. Method verify. The Mockito verify method is a feature of Mockito that allows us to check whether specific interaction with a mock object occurred during the execution of our code. It helps us ensure that the code under test is interacting with dependency correctly. Next, let's check how it works. Articles. We have 2 employees with position driver, and that's why I specify 2. And check result size, because when we call method getEmployees driver from our filter service, we going to 2 employees with position driver. Let's check it. Oh, I'm so sorry, I launched wrong this test here. Let's launch it. Yeah, everything works properly. And but the most interesting thing, let's add one more test. We check as in previous example, we check exception. Yeah, everything is okay. It works properly. It works properly because in our list from employee drivers we have only four. Yeah, only four elements. Filter service, get employees driver, return only 2 employees. But the most interesting thing I want to show you is that if we return to the TDD, test driving development approach, we will see that in this case we may not even know what is happening inside get employees method. Look, we can employee service, we can return now. We can return now. And we just need to know what this method will return. This method return as list employee. It's enough for us. We'll return list of employee by performing some complex logical them, but the logic itself will be written after writing a successful test. Let's check it. Yeah, in this case, also everything works properly. So we can use our services. We can use, as I said earlier, we can use with help Mockito. We can use our filter service, we can use our employee service, and this approach, as I see, which you write test before writing the actual code, we see in employee service that we don't need to know what's logic or what calculation this happen, but when we write test in this case, for employee service or employee filter service, and we maybe suppose how we need to work, and after that we write successful test. We can write our logic inside this method. That's all. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Have a nice day. Have a nice week. Goodbye.